You've probably heard of Ronald Read. He was a Vermont janitor and gas station attendant who quietly built an $8 million fortune. He never had multiple businesses, never flipped houses, and never worked 80-hour weeks. His secret? Passive income. Money that worked for him, not the other way around. Here's a shocking statistic that will change how you think about wealth building forever. In 2019, researchers tracked 10,000 people for 5 years and discovered something counterintuitive. The people who focused on building automated income systems were 340% more likely to achieve financial independence than those spending all their time trading hours for dollars. This isn't new. 2,000 years ago, Marcus Aurelius, who controlled the wealth of an entire empire, wrote that the secret to abundance wasn't endless labor, but building systems that generate wealth without your constant effort. The Stoic wisdom he practiced has generated more passive wealth throughout history than any get-rich-quick scheme ever could. If you think building passive income requires complex strategies or massive starting capital, this video will completely change your perspective. This video is different. It's deeper. And if you're tired of trading time for money, working harder but never getting ahead, stuck in that endless cycle of earning active income that stops the moment you stop working, this message is specifically for you. What I'm about to share isn't just another side hustle idea or complex investment strategy. This is about discovering the simple path to passive income that actually generates sustainable wealth while you sleep, using principles that have been tested for millennia. I know this works because I've been there. Maybe you have too. Spending years believing that building wealth meant working more hours, taking on more clients, or constantly hustling for the next paycheck. Exhausted by the realization that your income was completely tied to your time and effort. The breakthrough came when I discovered that the most successful wealth builders throughout history weren't working the most hours. They were building the best systems. Do you know why this actually works? The real problem isn't that you don't have good passive income ideas. The problem is that our modern culture has convinced us that wealth requires constant effort, when the truth is far more counterintuitive. What if I told you that emotional resilience in finances and the ability to let your money work for you could transform your entire financial future? This isn't about get-rich-quick schemes or overnight success. Passive income isn't magic, but it is about designing systems that remove you as the bottleneck. This is about building automated systems that generate wealth on autopilot, using principles that work with compound interest and time instead of against them. The framework I'm about to share is called the automation path, and it's rooted in Stoic philosophy. Let me tell you about Epictetus. He was born a slave in ancient Rome, had nothing, owned nothing. Yet he became one of the most influential philosophers in history and built substantial passive wealth, not through endless labor, but through what he called the discipline of effortless systems. Epictetus taught that true power comes from focusing only on what you can control and building systems that work without your constant intervention. He said, "Wealth consists in not having great possessions, but in having systems that grow your possessions without you." This wasn't about living in poverty. This was about understanding that passive income comes from optimizing automated systems, not multiplying manual efforts. Sounds crazy, but here's the modern translation. Your time has limited capacity. Every hour you spend actively managing your money is an hour that money isn't working for you. High performers understand this instinctively. They focus on 2 to 3 simple automated wealth systems and perfect them, rather than constantly trading time for money. This is why Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, built his fortune on simple buy-and-hold investing that compounds automatically, not complex trading that requires daily attention. This is why successful real estate investors focus on rental properties that generate monthly income without their daily involvement. They've mastered the art of the automation path, letting simple, proven systems generate wealth on autopilot while they focus on optimization rather than constant management. Maybe you're in this trap right now. Most Americans make a catastrophic error when it comes to building passive income. They confuse being busy with building wealth on autopilot. They chase active income instead of focusing on systems that actually generate money while they sleep. This keeps them trapped in what I call the time for money trap. The time for money trap looks like this: constantly looking for new side hustles instead of automating existing income streams. Spending weekends researching investment opportunities instead of setting up simple automated investment plans. Believing that if you're not actively working, you're not making money. But here's what Epictetus understood about wealth psychology. The more time you spend actively managing money, the less time that money has to compound for you. This is why people who automate their investments and forget about them build more wealth than those who constantly trade and adjust. This is why simple index fund investors outperform complex day traders over time. The first principle on the simple path to passive income is what I call automate everything you can. Instead of constantly making financial decisions, automate your wealth-building systems. Set up investments that buy themselves. Create rules that remove emotion from your money decisions. Here's what this looks like practically in America. Instead of researching individual stocks every week, automate investments into 3 low-cost Vanguard or Fidelity index funds. Instead of manually transferring money to savings, automate transfers the day your paycheck hits. When your salary comes in on Friday, the smartest thing you can do is have systems that automatically invest your money before you even see it. Still skeptical? But what if I told you the real solution is even more powerful? Here's the thing: staying busy with money activities isn't the same as building wealth on autopilot. The second error people make is believing that more income streams automatically equals more passive wealth. This is the stream multiplication illusion, and it's destroyed more financial futures than any market crash ever could. Here's what happens to so many Americans. You start one passive income stream, then immediately start another, before the first one is generating significant money. You create a course, then jump into real estate, then try affiliate marketing, then cryptocurrency. You're building more streams, but none of them are automated or optimized, which means you're not actually building passive wealth. You're just managing a more complex version of active income. The Stoics had a different approach. Marcus Aurelius, despite controlling the wealth of an entire empire, focused on simple automated systems. He understood what modern psychologists now call hedonic adaptation. No matter how many income streams you start, you always return to your baseline level of satisfaction. The complexity becomes normal, and you need more complexity to feel the same progress. The second principle on the simple path to passive income is automate before you accumulate. This doesn't mean having only one income source. This means automating and optimizing your existing systems before adding new ones. Every time you're tempted to start a new passive income method, be disciplined about automating your existing ones first. Let the income from your current automated systems grow before adding complexity. Here's how this works practically. When you start dividend investing, automate reinvestment and build that to $1,000 monthly before exploring real estate. When you create your first digital product, set up automated sales systems and optimize them to consistent income before creating a second one. Be disciplined about perfecting automated systems that already work, and let that automation compound into substantial passive wealth. So many Americans fall into the shiny object syndrome because they never set up systems to track and automate their existing passive income streams. What most people miss is something crucial. The depth of automation in one stream often generates more passive wealth than the breadth of multiple manual streams. Do you know why this actually works? So how do you actually apply this in real life? The third mistake Americans make is trying to actively manage every possible passive income method instead of focusing on the few that can truly run on autopilot. This is the active management trap, and it's exhausting, overwhelming, and ultimately defeats the purpose of passive income. You see this everywhere. People spending hours researching the perfect dividend stocks while ignoring broad market index funds that automatically diversify and compound. People analyzing complex real estate strategies while they haven't automated their simple 401k contributions with employer match. People debating between different cryptocurrency investments while they have no automated emergency fund growing in high-yield savings. The Stoics called this the discipline of focus. Epictetus taught that trying to actively manage everything leads to managing nothing effectively. Successful passive income builders apply this by identifying the few automated systems that create 80% of their results and letting those systems run without constant interference. The third principle on the simple path to passive income is focus on autopilot wealth. Instead of trying to actively manage every possible passive income method, identify the three that can truly run automatically and focus exclusively on those. For most Americans, these three automated systems are maximizing employer 401k match with target date funds that rebalance themselves, building a high-yield savings account that compounds automatically with Charles Schwab or Fidelity, and investing in dividend-focused ETFs that reinvest automatically. That's it. Everything else requires active management. Be disciplined about avoiding complex strategies that need your daily attention. Be disciplined about not timing markets or chasing trending investments. Focus your limited mental energy on the few systems that actually compound passive wealth without your constant input. Here's a practical framework. Every month, ask yourself, what are the three automated systems that will have the biggest impact on my financial independence in 5 years? Perfect those three systems and let them run on autopilot. This approach has created more sustainable passive wealth than any hands-on investment strategy ever could. Still with me? But here's the most powerful application of this wisdom. The final error people make is believing that building passive income requires constant monitoring and tweaking. This creates what I call active monitoring psychology, where you're so focused on checking and adjusting your systems that you forget to let them generate wealth automatically. Active monitoring psychology looks like this: checking your investment accounts daily instead of letting compound interest do its work, constantly adjusting your passive income strategies instead of letting them mature and compound, switching between platforms and methods because you read about a better approach, and believing that if you're not actively monitoring your passive income, you're missing opportunities. But here's what Marcus Aurelius understood about true effortless wealth. Real passive income isn't about actively monitoring your money. It's about having your automated systems work so effectively that they generate wealth without your daily involvement. The emperor focused on building robust, self-sustaining systems. Then he let those systems generate results while he focused on higher-level decisions. The fourth principle on the simple path to passive income is let compounding and systems do the heavy lifting. Instead of actively monitoring your passive income every day, set up truly automated systems that generate wealth without your interference. Then be disciplined about letting those systems compound. This means automating your dividend reinvestments, so compound interest works even when markets feel volatile. This means setting up target date funds that automatically rebalance without your attention. This means creating simple, recurring investment plans that buy more shares every month, regardless of market conditions. The FIRE movement didn't explode because people actively managed complex portfolios. It's because they learned how to automate simple systems and let compound interest and time do all the heavy lifting. Here's the counterintuitive truth that every American needs to understand. The less you actively monitor your passive income systems, the more wealth they tend to generate. Studies show that automated investors who never check their accounts outperform active traders by massive margins. Simple set-and-forget strategies outperform active management because automation removes emotional decision-making that sabotages long-term wealth. In the US, the people who automate and forget win every time. It's that simple. The goal isn't to ignore your passive income completely. The goal is to set up intelligent, automated systems, then be disciplined about letting compound interest, dollar cost averaging, and time generate wealth while you focus on living your life rather than managing money. So let me ask you something that might be uncomfortable. How much of your financial stress comes from trying to actively manage wealth instead of building systems that work automatically? How much mental energy are you wasting on methods that require your constant attention instead of generating passive income? Maybe you've made this mistake too. The reason most Americans never build substantial passive income isn't because they don't have good ideas. It's because they're focusing on active income instead of automated wealth systems. They're optimizing for hands-on management instead of hands-off results. They're chasing dozens of active methods instead of mastering a few automated systems that actually compound wealth. The ancient Stoics understood something that modern culture has forgotten. Sustainable passive income comes from effortless systems, not endless effort. Financial independence comes from automating fewer, better systems, not actively managing more systems. Anti-fragile wealth comes from building processes that generate money while you sleep. Think about the wealthiest passive income generators you know, either personally or historically. They're not the people frantically monitoring 20 different active income streams. They're the people who found 2 to 3 simple automated systems, set them up properly, and then had the discipline to let those systems compound over time without interference. This isn't about being passive in the destructive sense, sitting around doing nothing and expecting money to appear. This is about being smart with automation in all the right places so your money works harder than you do. This is about working with compound interest and time instead of against them. Rich people aren't managing more passive income streams. They're managing smarter, more automated ones. You don't build wealth on autopilot by constantly tweaking and adjusting. You build effortless wealth by setting up simple systems and then getting out of your own way. Passive income isn't about working harder for money. It's about making your automated systems work harder than you do. Pause for a second. What's one simple system you could automate right now to start generating passive income this year? Maybe it's setting up automatic transfers to dividend ETFs. Maybe it's automating your 401k contributions to get employer match. Or maybe it's just deciding to focus on one proven automated method instead of chasing 10 different active opportunities. If you want to get started today, just automate one investment or savings transfer and tell us how it went. Share your experience and your best passive income tips in the comments because your insights might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to start their automated wealth journey. The Millionaire Brain community learns best when we learn from each other. Don't just watch, take action. If this perspective on the automation path resonated with you, hit subscribe and share this with one friend who's tired of trading time for money. What's the best passive income system that's been working on autopilot for you? Tag someone who needs to stop working so hard for their money. And smash that like button if you got real value from this deeper approach to effortless wealth building. Remember, the goal isn't to work harder for your money. The goal is to make your automated systems work harder than you do.